Welcome back to the shop, everybody. Glad to finally be putting out a few more videos. All right, today I've got a 7.62 by 39 AR-15 build. I'm going to kind of take you through what's on the rifle and what's going to have to be changed and added to finally complete this build. First of all, let's start with this lower. This lower I picked up about 4 years ago. It's an FMK firearms lower. It's just a standard polymer AR-15 lower. I picked this up for about 40 bucks and it's just been sitting around ever since. Finally, I started putting the rifle together. When I started and I got the upper receiver, it was just a bare receiver with your gas system, and it had about an 8-inch pistol barrel on it. And I ended up completing the rifle just so I could shoot it with the pistol barrel, and I ended up only shooting it just literally like less than 30 rounds. And I decided I want to change it to something more practical for me anyways, which would be something I can hunt with, which is why I decided to go with the 7.62, a nice 30 caliber round, which is readily available and cheap. Okay, anytime I build any gun, I want to do it as cheap as possible with as good as reliable, as best reliability as I can get. So next I got this scope. This is a Bushnell AR Optics 223 scope. I put the scope on it when I still had the pistol barrel. I chose it just because it's a more of an AR style scope, and it's just a 1x4, but any hunting I'll do would be within 100 yards, which I think is a good effectiveness out of the cartridge I'm using, and it'll get the job done for now. I'll probably swap that out eventually, but for now that's what we're going to be using. I have this Ergo brand rubberized grip. Picked that up on a good deal. I know most of y'all would probably expect me to have a polymer stippled grip, which of course I probably will have one on here eventually, but I got a good deal on that, and it's something just a little different. Lower parts kit came from Midway USA. I really love Midway USA. I ordered some of these new parts I'm about to show you on Tuesday, and they were here by Friday, and that was just standard free shipping, and so I really like that. This lower parts kit has, I think this is JP Enterprises trigger group, and I got the reduced powered trigger spring. It feels pretty nice. It's decent. Of course, you got your standard 6-position stock. I got a Magpul M-Lock Handguard. This is the carbine length. The barrel, all right, the barrel, this is a 7.62 by 39 barrel, and it's a 1 in 10 twist, 16 inches, lacking a muzzle device right now. So let me show you what we got for that. Here we got, this is an AR Stoner brand muzzle brake, 3 ports on either side, 3 on top. If you're doing a 30 caliber AR-15, you're going to have to make sure you're looking for 5/8 by 24 for your threaded end, because that's what it's going to require. Of course, that comes with a crush washer. Bolt carrier group. This has to be purchased in order to run 7.62. It has a wider bolt face, which is necessary for this round. 223 is a little bit slimmer, so you got to have that. This is AR Stoner brand as well. It seems to be a nice quality machine piece. Everything, I can't see any obvious flaws or defects in the machining, and the finish is nice. It looks to have a quality finish on it, so I'm looking forward to seeing how it goes. Right now I have actually a really nice, this is a nickel boron 223 bolt carrier group, and I hate to get rid of that, but it's up for grabs. If anybody's interested in that, I'll make you a deal on it, because I won't be using it anymore. Mags. If you are going to do a 7.62 build, you have to have proprietary mags, which is a lot of the reason people don't want to do this build, because if you read online, a lot of people say mag reliability is poor, quality of mags, availability of mags, price of mags. There's a lot of complaints when it comes to magazines, but I figured I'd try it out for myself. I really like, you don't really ever know a lot unless you do it on your own. Here's a 10-round magazine. I'll probably be using this mag more than a 30-rounder, just because in a hunt situation it takes up less space, and or even if you're sighting it in or shooting it off a bench, you got more room, obviously. Right now, this particular mag's loaded up, and it loaded nice and easy. The quality of this mag seems great. It is also AR Stoner. The finish is okay. I mean, it's a lot like any other stainless mag that you'd see. And this is just some 122 grain hollow point steel case ammo. That being one of the main reasons, again, that I decided to do this build. So I'm gonna go put these parts on this gun, the bolt carrier group, muzzle brake, and we're gonna go shoot. Oh, and I know some of y'all are probably thinking, why this shop setup is not the norm. All right, well, here's my normal shop table. Right now I'm working on my sword skills over there, so this is more of my rifle table setup. Got a lot more room over here. Here we go. One more thing before I get this gun slapped back together. I want to give you a quick side-by-side comparison on these two bolt carriers. On the left, you got 223. On the right, you got 7.62 by 39. You can tell the difference there in the size for sure. That's why you must have this proprietary bolt carrier group. So, oh, by the way, side note, if you're interested, I'll make you a good deal on this piece. Can't remember the brand right off, but if you're interested, I'll try to get those details and I'll make you a deal on it. I'm quite positive less than 10 rounds have been fired using this. Okay, another thing, just some quick notes. This, your standard AR wrench, does not fit this particular muzzle brake. This does not fit this, okay? But it's not a problem though. This is really easy to time up. If you've got a set of wrenches or an adjustable wrench or whatever, you'll have no problem installing this muzzle brake. Alright guys, we're here at the home range, about ready to start shooting this 7.62 by 39 AR build. My motivation for finally finishing this gun is that rifle season here in Tennessee is upon us, and I cannot wait to go hunt with this gun. But before I can hunt with it, I need to get this scope sighted in, and also my hunting ammo. I got some soft point Federals on the way, so I'm just going to kind of get the scope decent on paper right now. I'm going to start out by shooting one shot downrange on the paper. Got a large paper target set up downrange, and I'm just going to see where I'm at. Then I'm going to aim just to the side of the target and squeeze off a few rounds just to see how the gun's functioning, make sure we're no ejection failures or anything like that. Right now I've got the 10 round mag in with tow ammo, steel case, 122 grain full metal jackets. So, see where we're at. Okay, so I don't know if we just had a light primer strike. I got the gun put on safe. I want to inject this magazine. Alright, we're going to see what happens here. It does in fact look like we've got a light primer strike. I was afraid that would happen. A lot of people online said that you do need the I think they call it the extra power or extra heavy hammer spring to help with these hard primers. The steel case ammo here, these have the bird down primers and they're a little bit tough. So let me get it loaded back up, everything set back up, and we'll try it again. Alright, I got us loaded back up, and we're going to give it another shot. I'm going to load the round in, see if we can't get it to fire. In case you're wondering why I'm taking such a deep angle downward to shoot at, is my target's a little bit downhill from here. Safety off. We are on the paper, a little bit low. I'm gonna see if I can get us another shot off just to the right. Let's see what happens. Looks like bolt's closed. I did see the round eject. I can actually see the round. See if we can get another shot down here. Light primer strike again. Yep, same scenario. That round that fired was the same one that I light strike the first time. So after striking again, the round did go off. So that's where we're at. And I'm just going to do the same thing real quick. I'm going to load that round back in and see if I can get it to shoot. I'm going to go ahead and move the scope up. Looks like it needs to go up a couple inches and right. Just about an inch. Okay. There we go. See if this next one will fire. Same thing. Well, I'm pretty sure we can do a definite conclusion that in order to shoot this particular ammo, it's going to take at least 2 hits to send them down range. So it looks like I'm going to be immediately ordering extra heavy, I think it's extra heavy, extra power, I forget what they call it, that hammer spring. I'm gonna get one of those on the way if I'm gonna be just shooting this, just plinking with this cheap ammo. And also, I will continue this video when I get some better ammunition, some brass, and we'll go from there. Thanks for watching, guys. All right, guys, we are back in the shop, and we left off when I was having some light strike issues using steel case ammo. Okay, so here's, I'm going to give you a few updates on what I've done to the rifle. Of course, you see I've got it apart, and I realized that I had, and I may have mentioned this earlier in the video, I can't exactly remember, I have a JP Enterprises reduced weight trigger spring in it. I also forgot that I also had this JP Enterprises reduced power hammer spring, okay, and of course that helps on your trigger pull, and the trigger pull in it was decent, okay. It felt pretty good, a lot better than like a, say, a mil-spec style trigger. So this spring is very weak, okay? So that obviously had to do with some light strikes. So if you're anything like me, you forget you got parts and where you got them. So I found the regular hammer spring, and I've got that put back in the gun. And this really, I mean, it dramatically changed the force on the hammer. But as a negative, it also really affected the trigger pull. Okay, I'm not going to pretend like I can tell you how many pounds this is, but it's much stiffer than what it was. So next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to try this hammer spring and see if I have any better luck on the cheap ammo. See if we're still getting light strikes. Another thing I want to show you is I have the upper over here, and to run hollow points, I noticed the other day I was just trying to see if the gun was going to feed these hollow points, and I think I might have showed you the feed ramps on this gun earlier. Well, of course, these hollow points have a nice flat nose on them. Well, my prediction was right. The gun would not feed these smoothly. Okay, as soon as the bolt engaged the cartridge, it would just jam them right into the receiver. Okay, and I'll show you what that was looking like. All right, so here is what we're looking at. This surface right here was perpendicular to the feed ramps. So it was just a flat, if you can imagine, it was just a flat surface. And you can tell these, if I can get my pointer in there, these surfaces right here, I have rounded off. So now it matches the feed ramps exactly, okay? And I'll show you how I did that while we're in here. I used my Dremel tool. This is not actually a Dremel, all right? This is a micro air die grinder. If you've watched my channel, you've seen me use this before on stippling handguns. But what I did is I took this is a conical grinding stone, and I just went real easy, it's real small, and just real lightly just came in here and took that surface out. There was like a 90 degree, if you can imagine, just a 90 coming right across through here, okay? Which is, of course, it wasn't engaging the feed ramp smoothly. FMJs weren't any problem, but those hollow points would just hit that every single time and would not feed at all. So I just took this and just matched the receiver to the feed ramps on both sides, okay? Just nice and easy. And anybody, guys, don't be afraid to do that. This wasn't that difficult. The most difficult part about that entire process was cleaning all the metal shavings back out of the gun. Okay, I'll show you from this side. All right, and if I can find that bullet, I'll show you, kind of give you maybe a better idea of what was going on. All right, so here's the bullet. When it was coming in, it would jam right here. It's like it was hitting that surface, okay? Boom, it would get right there and just stuck, wouldn't do anything. But now it hits this ramp and just slides right in the chamber, no problem, okay? Same thing on this side. So it didn't matter what side of the magazine it was on, where it was coming from, it's just going to hit one of these ramps, slide right up in there, okay? So this is something you might want to try out if you're having problems feeding hollow points, if you do a build like this, okay? Now, one more thing I'm going to talk to you about. All right, because we've had to go with this other hammer spring, and for those of you that may not be familiar with what I'm talking about, I'll kind of explain that again. When I change out the hammer spring, it's kind of like changing the striker spring on a Glock. It really affects your trigger pull. So with this stiffer spring, it really, I mean, the trigger's just, even pulling with my thumb, it's just stiff, okay? I'm not going to claim to be some expert marksman, so I'll take a light trigger, a little bit lighter trigger anytime I can get it. So I'm gonna show you now. I wish I could take credit for this idea, but I can't. But I think the guy's channel's name is WI Gun Guy, and I've seen him do this because he was doing a 7.62 build, and he kind of shared some ideas, and I really liked them. So here's a striker out of the bolt, and what you can do is you can take this shoulder and take a little bit off of it. Now let me explain what that's going to do. So this shoulder is what stops the striker from moving, all right? The hammer engages it here, and this stops it from going too far, okay? And of course, this is your business end over here, which hits your primer. Now, this shoulder right now as it sits is it's a little bit less, it's gonna keep running away from me, it's a little less than 80 thousandths, okay? That's about how wide it is right now. So what I'm gonna do, and you can take off this end, all right, sorry about the camera work, guys. You can take off of this end right here, okay, the business end I'll call it. I can, look, it's like it's running away. I'm gonna take about 30 thousandths off of that end of the striker, okay, off of this surface. And what that allow it to do, it'll allow the striker to go 30 thousandths, oh, this is magnetized, that's why it's running away. It'll allow the striker to go deeper into the primer. So what that can do, and the reason I would even take the time to do that, is because I can go back to this lighter hammer spring, which is then, of course, will go back to having a better trigger. So if I end up going and doing that process, I'll get that all on video. I'll show you how I'm going to take that down, how I'll take those 30 thousandths off, and I'll show you the results of that as well. So I'm going to take this gun, throw it back together, and we're going to take it outside and see if it's going to eliminate our light strike issues with just the hammer spring. All right, we're going to go ahead and function test this. I got the 122 grain hollow points loaded in here. this is a 10-round mag, it's completely full. Hopefully I'm gonna try to empty the mag, and this is with the mil-spec hammer spring. Let's see how she does. As you can see there, mil-spec hammer spring definitely did the trick. Trigger pull is a little stiffer, but hopefully we can work on that later. Excellent sign. Every single one of those rounds, no failures to feed, and no light primer strikes. We have a functioning rifle. Can't be more pleased with these AR Stoner mags. Not had any problem with either the 10 round or the 30 round mag yet. So, let's keep making progress. All right, guys, as you just seen, we now have a functioning rifle. But like I said, I would really like to go back and run this lighter hammer spring so that I got a better trigger pull. And to do that, I've explained that process on what I'm about to do this striker. So this is my striker out of my 7.62 bolt. And before I start going through that process again, I'll show you a couple things. Here's the steel case, hollow point ammo. And I want to show you what, compared to the ammo I'm going to be hunting with, if you look at the primer, you can almost see that the primers sit deeper in the steel case ammo. Well, I actually measured it, and consistently out of the few different rounds I've measured, the depth of the primer in the steel case is about 6 thousandths. Compared to these Hornady's, the depth on the primer is more like 4 thousandths, 3 to 4 thousandths. So these primers set a little bit deeper. And just so you know what I will be hunting with, these are Hornady black ammunition. These are 123 grain SSTs. And I like the SST bullets that Hornady offers. And these are supposed to be like 2,350 feet per second at around, I think 1,500 foot-pounds of energy. So, and that's at the muzzle. And so anyways, so we're going to take some material off this shoulder. Let me go over the process on what that's going to be like. So I'm going to take this striker, and by the way, I have, in case this doesn't go well or I don't like it and this striker's useless, no big deal, I have a spare. And not only that, these are cheap. Like you can buy a striker for like less than 10 bucks. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to put this striker, now you see I got this drill chucked up in the vise. That's just so I can help hold it level and I don't have to hold it with one hand, yada yada yada. I'm going to put the striker in the drill, chuck it in the drill, in which case the side that my finger's on, I'm going to take a flat file and start taking away the material from that shoulder. Okay, right now, and I did some more measuring to the striker, right now it's at 75 thousandths, okay, and that's consistent all the way around the shoulder. And I'm going to take it down so that it is 50 thousandths all the way around. So I'm going to try to subtract 25 thousandths and see where that gets us, and then of course we'll take it out for a test. So I'm going to get this set up, and I'm going to try to video the process of me filing this down. Here we go. Alright guys, so you see I've got my striker chucked in my drill, I got my file. I'm going to be running the drill in reverse just so that it's going to help me take away the material off the striker. And it's going to be kind of a long, slow process. I probably won't video the whole thing and bore you to death, but this is how it's going to work. And I know some of you are thinking, man, this is some rigged up gunsmithing. Well, poor people got poor ways. How about that? The best way to do this would be in a lathe, obviously, but I'm not going to take the time to do that. So here we go. Now, one thing you need to, if you are going to do it like this, something you need to take note of is you want to make sure that your striker, when it's spinning, that you don't have any wobble. Mine's turning nice and straight right now. And so far, so good, okay? But this is going to be quite slow. All right, and I'm taking off about 25 thousandths. For all you mathematicians out there, that's a little bit less than a 32nd of an inch. So I'm gonna keep working on this. All right, guys, I'm finished up. I finished up all that process up off camera. Also took a little piece of sandpaper while I had it in the drill and cleaned up this surface and got it looking good. I got it at 50 thousandths, which is where I wanted it. It's nice and true all the way around. So I'm going to get this back in the bolt. I'm going to get the bolt back in the gun, and I'm also going to change back to the light hammer spring and see where we're at. All right, we are back for another function test. This time we've got our modified firing pin with our lightweight hammer spring. The only other difference is still 10 round mag, but I've got them alternated between FMJs and hollow points, both same brand, both steel case, both 122 grain. So here we go, let's see if it works. Looks like we got a light strike. First one went, second one looks like is a no-go. Yep, light strike. That one would have been on an FMJ, so I might be seeing differences between FMJs and hollow point. Light strike again. Yep. Don't believe our little modification is going to work out. Well, it was worth a shot. Looks like I'm going to be running mil-spec hammer spring, but I'm all about whatever works. The final phase of this build will be to go get my Hornady ammunition, put back in my regular hammer spring, and get my scope dialed in. Thanks for watching, everybody. All right, everybody, that is the completion of this video. It is a function rifle. The scope is sighted in at 100 yards using this Hornady black ammunition. Shot a pretty decent group at 100 yards, even with just the 4-power scope. One other thing I'm going to add to this rifle, I'll add a sling. It's hard to pack around just a rifle with no sling in the woods. And I know some of you AR-15 geeks are just really mad because continually throughout the video I called this firing pin a striker multiple times. So just to clear things up, this is a firing pin, not a striker. I guess where I work on so many Glocks, I'm used to calling this device a striker, but anyways, don't want to have everybody all mad over using the wrong terminology. If you're interested in building a gun similar to this, one that works, got questions, if you want to know what it takes, if you want me to build one for you, check out my Instagram page or Facebook page. That's Cumberland Gap Tactical. I'll have links down in the description. I would say altogether, this entire build, I have around $500 in it. Maybe a little less, maybe a little more. I'd have to sit down and write everything out to be sure, but it's definitely doable on a budget, guys. So if you have any other questions, let me know. Thanks for sticking it out, guys. I appreciate it.